My name is Justin and Soul Graffiti Studios here once again on a Wednesday at 11 a.m. for West Coast Wednesdays. That's right, every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So today I'm going to be continuing my chat in regard to doing a house beat and refining that house beat. We started out with this Latin house beat session with Damien Soul from some weeks ago, and it's really metamorphosized since the first ones. If you didn't check out those, go to the playlist on our YouTube station and we will have it there. Thanks again to the Garnish Music Network for having us out. And here we are in Ableton Live 11 Suite. Just want to give a shout out to anyone that uses Clifex Pro. It now works with Ableton Live 11. You have to download the newest version, which is free online. It's 2.7.2. It's a zip file of Clifex, and I just made a video on that on our channel, on the SF Garnish YouTube channel. So if you want to get into using that for just easy studio creations or a live set in session view, it's a super helpful tool. Let's go ahead and listen to some of this, and we'll get into it. So there's a couple things I know I want to clean up. This is a part of the process that really gets down to, like, can we make it better? And we have to, we have to get from the 80% to 90 and 100% completion rate. And that's kind of where we're at right now with this song, is just getting it more refined. A lot of tracks here. Loop that violin. Make it drop and rise. Here we go. All right, so this is one that I want to refine, is that little kind of reggae violin synth thing that we just did here. Let's go ahead and look at this a little bit. So it looks like this is coming in right on that off, but is everything else where it wants to be? Okay, let's go ahead and listen to this. So it looks like having this be starting exactly on there might help out. Or right on the off. Go ahead and just listen to that. All right. So a little bit more precise. Go ahead and put that in the right area of the mix. Auto pan. Bring that back in the mix. Here's all the different build-ups coming in right here. So for some reason, this one is actually backward. So we want actually this to be here, I think. That's not the right part. Let's just see how that sounds. That's a different part. So let's go ahead and make sure we have the violin or the guitar going the right area. All right, it sounds like the guitar loops randomly in the wrong area. So really, our phrasing here is really important that we have the same phrasing. Looks like our loop is shortened a little bit. All right, now these ones can actually match, I believe. This is a mandolin and oud. Let's just keep this simple as. that guitar, I don't want that last little riff there. I want that hit to match. And there we go. Boom. So these two, I was thinking we were going to match the violin, but it's actually matching the guitar part. So I'm going to bring these out of the violin, everything, and bringing that all the way up to where our guitar channels are so that we're not having to scroll back and forth. This really shows how many channels we have in this mix. As of right now, there we go. We'll put it right below. Okay, so here we are. We have our Mando, guitar, and oud all kind of in that same location. Just have that. Let's see what happens with that. It's gone. This is part of the cleanup as well, right? So this guitar part right here, that little chunk, that sound we just heard. Let's pull these and make some nice fades. And something else that happened in the other song is that there was a big hit at the end that signaled the end. So instead of being that fading, let's press A and get into our automation. Okay, so this is something to recognize that if you take your A function and make a hotkey with it, it takes away the original automation on off. So I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these that I use. A, S, D, next locator. Yeah, we got to change that. I'll talk to Damien about that. We did some shortcuts together. Now this is one that naturally is in Ableton. When you press the A, as long as your keyboard is not engaged, right? In the upper area right here, keyboard engaged, your A function on your keyboard won't work like this, but go ahead and use your A, automation on and off. Special thing about this is that we're looking at the end of the song and we want to know what is engaging and when. Looks like we have some our delay throw on our F send on our drums. Let's find out where our drums are. All right. And there's that automation. Show automation. I'm not sure why this is turned on even. It looks pretty random to me. Let's keep that off. Sometimes that's an accident. All right, a little bit less of a throw. Now this is one that we can shorten up a little bit. What else is playing longer? Even our guitar hit. Maybe just make it like that. All right. A few more times listen to this. Similarly, I'm hearing these hits right here with the guitar, and I don't really want those. All right, so the ending is ending now in a pretty precise way, and it's ending on the 15, not this one. So let's go ahead and just make that the ending. We'll take out the 15. So what I like to do is actually have the ending be essentially when we, cut the track. We'd cut it for that fade to happen. And then put our set marker as last hit, renamed last hit. All right. Okay, so we essentially cleaned up a little bit of the oud. We also organized a few tracks here. Some tracks like this are really, not too much is happening in that. We just have that one hit. Is that something we really want? Yeah, I think so. And maybe we put that in our second hit as well. Better. Where's the bass here, huh? working. So I don't know if we even need this spot here. Let's go ahead and just take that out. Command Shift Delete. All right. So our track is kind of wrapping up here, and I recall the beginning and the end kind of being similar. Acoustic stand-up bass. In. So this bit crusher is kind of coming in a little strong, like in regard to kind of takes down the volume, right? So it's essentially just really kind of letting that violin drop in volume right here so that effect doesn't quite take over, right? Cool. There's a couple sound effects here that I want to bring down in volume. Let's find out where that is. I believe it's this one right here. Cool. So let's go ahead and see how often are we using that. Just in that one location. Is it even worth it? Let's go ahead and just drop that volume. This is actually frozen, but you can still work on volumes. See, these little cleanups are really going to help out. Command 4, right, takes it off grid so you can kind of cut from the exact location, and then go ahead and put your fader on the way you want. Fade out. And I'm hearing that violin sample coming in strong, probably in a way that I don't really like. Right there. I don't need that note. Let's just take it out. Zeroing that, deactivating the clip in that area. A build-up area. So I just made a note here of build up with frequency sweep, and we're going to do something on the master chain here using our frequency sweeps. So we'll engage these, and we're just going to go ahead and do some automation starting from that area. All right. So what I want to do is show automations. Let's go ahead and cut this a little bit. And so this is where it drops. So I want all my frequencies be in by there. This is where it comes down. Make it underwater. The same thing we're going to do on the highs is bring that up. I'm going to do the exact same thing here as like get this to build up. So still want to hear the mix. Back to full. couple different dropouts. All right, so we know that here we're back to that kind of full spectrum, right? Highs and lows. This one actually could even be opened up entirely. There's something else going on though that I hear, which is that fade to gray, right? Let's just go ahead and just bring that down a little more. All right, so we have a cleaner version, and what I really suggest is saving your work. And even though this is in Splice and they have versions, I always do this just because I don't want to lose anything, and then I have to then update the collaborators that I have a new version saved. So, and then what I'll do is I'm just going to bounce an MP3 of this to the ending point. Command Shift R, and MP3 is engaged. And we will just put this in as a 8 right here. All right, so we're saving that. So as that is saving, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about our program at SF Garnish Music Production and the Garnish Music Network. Is we have the short courses are 18 to 36 hours. They last between a week to 12 weeks, depending on how fast you want to go. And then we have our producer program, which is sound design, mixing and mastering, your DAW work, and then some marketing. And it's 120 hours. It could last up to 6 months. And then we have our academy, which is about a 6 month to 2 year program, depending on how fast you do it. And that includes mentorship. You can pretty much, create your own album utilizing our off time and hours in the studio. That is probably the best offer we have is the academy. Excuse me. And comparable schools around the area might be $60,000 to $100,000. Our program is just over $10,000 for the entire academy. We do take payments, and this is just the beginning of your path of really taking the next step into your music. So if you guys want to participate and learn with a cohort and some awesome teachers in the Bay Area or anywhere worldwide, please contact us. There's 8 locations worldwide. We'd be happy to direct you to other locations. If you're traveling, you can actually sit in at other classes and other locations for free. And there's quite a bit of perks out there to tell you about. So contact us, sf@garnishmusicproduction.com or the Garnish Music Network, and we'd be happy to take your call. You can also take classes online or in person. So there's a lot of flexibility. If you have some travel time and then you're also in the Bay Area for some time, you can continue your studies either way. So here we are back in Ableton. I just bounced a version of this, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump into online briefly and type in Splice Studio. I want to tell you guys, Splice has had a few hiccups. We lost actually a whole section of our work, even after pressing save as, and really unfortunate. So what I've been doing, so you see how it shows up here of the different house Latin, 04, 05, 06, 07. I just did 08. And this is the way that kind of is a fail proof for me. We were able to save most of our work, but then I have to then put in the collaborators again, who is working on it with me. So I'm going to go ahead and put the collaborators on there, and then we'll go back to our timeline. So the other thing is that you can do add stems or add a bounce. So add bounce is nice because somebody can just come in and listen to what you have so far. So I would go into my splice, collaborations, Damien Justin, and I would go to the '08 version that I just bounced and upload that. And it's pretty quick because it's MP3. Something you want to know about MP3s is that it does simplify the track. The ones and zeros are all cut up. And I would say, so our frequency, our hertz that we can hear as humans, is essentially about 10 hertz all the way up to 20 hertz. We might feel, right, 0 to 70K. What happens when you change a wave to MP3 is it cuts it down to 16Ks or top hertz. So all those frequencies above that, whether we hear them or feel them, they're not there anymore. This is something that it's a debatable issue these days in the world, as most people are listening online via YouTube or Spotify, and it is not a waveform. It is actually an MP3. So you're listening to it at a different quality. And I'm curious around the effects of that, to the audience. It's not going to be the same as in-person audibility, right? If you listen to a symphony in a huge hall, right? There are some overtones that could be up in the 60 to 80K hertz. And I would love to feel and experience that with recordings as much as I can. So I encourage you to bounce to waveform for your final, obviously, for any sharing, and maybe even try and bounce things at 96K or double that, and try and capture those higher frequencies. So that's something that I'm going to try and do in the near future. But for the sake of just having a little demo, this is what we're going to do, is just do an MP3. And now when you can click on here, it essentially plays that and it shows all the tracks. It kind of shows which instruments are in even. All right. Cool. So that's what we have today. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Once again, my name is Justin Anchetta from SF Garnish Music Production and the Garnish Music Network and Soul Graffiti Studios. We're here every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for West Coast Wednesdays. That's right. We're talking about digital audio workstations. Give yourself a warm round of applause. Every Wednesday, if you guys want to learn deeper into your music production skills, we're going to be talking about Clifex Pro that just got updated into Ableton 11. So grateful because I was using that for some live setups myself, and I had to go back to Ableton 10 to work on it until just recently. Music, theory, programming, computers, live instruments. We have that all going on at our studio at Soul Graffiti and SF Garnish, and we are grateful that you guys are with us. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.